Good morning guys, and in this video I'm going to be replacing the battery on a Mk5 Gold. Alright, so just before we start that, actually I've wrote down a few things. How I'm going to do my videos from now and just make it much easier and I don't have to waffle so much. Number one, poor cranking. So when you go to turn the car on and it goes none of that. If you just go straight away, you like that, innit? Alright, whatever, moving on. Number two, apps. So the appliances you have determine the sort of power that's going to be going in the battery. If you've got aftermarket stereo, reverse cameras, your phone, your sat-nav plugged in, then obviously you're going to need quite a good battery. So there's always like 3 different types of low for stock cars, medium if you've got like a little stereo, and 3 if you've got the amp and all the stuff plugged in, all of that rubbish, yeah. So whatever. The age, they're meant to last, I think, 5 years, then they start going funny. So if it's older than 5 years, you're going to start having problems. And lastly, the type, which is what we spoke about earlier. 3 types, low, medium and high. I'd say for my sort of car, for that sort of car, medium. It's got an aftermarket stereo, she uses her phone, she plugs her phone, the sat nav, all of that. It's got cameras, so yeah, medium battery should be good enough. Alright, so once you're in the bonnet, all you want to do, you want to locate your battery. So obviously it's in here, all you want to do is just lift this up, pull it out of the way, put this somewhere safe, and then obviously here you've got your 2 terminals, your positive and you've got your negative. All you want to use is, I think this is a 10 mil, if this is a 10 mil, you just want to spin these off. I don't think you have to take them all the way off. Spin them off so it gets nice and loose here, then obviously you want to take them off. Remember, negative off first, and then your positive. Once you do that, make sure you move them out of the way so they're not going to come into contact with the terminals. Alright, so once you've loosened up these nuts,
will your mouth still remember the taste of
these nuts?
Name something you put in your mouth but don't swallow.
These nuts. God!
Look at the flick.
These nuts.
Look at the flick.
These nuts.
Look at the flick of their wrist.
Got it!
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
These nuts.
Cause I give you all of
these nuts. And obviously, like I said, you don't have to take them off. You just lift them out of the way, and obviously you just want to bend them and put them somewhere safe where it's not going to come back into contact with the battery once you start lifting it out of the way. So next one is this one as well, so shimmy it a bit. Obviously you don't need to use that much effort. Shimmy it. There's a bit of bread on there because obviously I like to make toast in the morning. I joke, I don't know what that is, it's not my car, but yeah. Alright, so like I said, on the VW, Audi, Seat, Skoda models, most of them will have this little 10mm nut, no 13mm nut down here. This is what clamps the battery down in place so it doesn't move around when you're driving. It's very important not to lose this part, and it's very important to make sure you put it back on. So obviously you're going to need an extension, so you got your ratchet and your 13mm socket and your long extension, and you just loosen it up from up here. Once that's off, then just grab it, make sure you don't drop it, and pull it and put it down somewhere. So just for you guys, this is the setup I'm using. I've got my ratchet, I've got the extension, I've gone over the top with the extension, but that's my 13mm socket, so that way when I do go to ratchet it off, I don't have to lean in or nothing. I can just put it there and just ratchet it up with loads of space up here to loosen it off. Remember, loosen it off and make sure you grab it just before it starts to actually rattle around. And see, it's now been removed. That's the plate space down there. Now all I've got to do is just lift the battery out, put it down somewhere safe, get the new one and whack it in. Same way. So obviously you've got positive here, negative there. Very important. Very, very important. I like to put these things on the terminals first, so that way I can make sure it's all seated before I go adjusting the position of the battery. On the battery, I don't know if you can see now because of this, but there are some grooves there which is showing you where exactly the clamp needs to go on, but I just like to go by this. So I put the positive on first, make sure that's down as far as it can. Whoops. Make sure that's down as far as it can on the post, so just tap it down, try not to use anything because you might get sparks, and then do the same to the negative, and then make sure you do these nuts up as tight as you can. Not too tight, but just tight enough so that they don't fall off. Most people like to clean it around it and use some sort of substance, but I think it's alright as it is. Just make sure that there's not a lot of debris, not much dirt around it, that way you get a good connection. Right, so once you've made sure you've put all your clamps on nice and tight, next you want to do is put the securing bracket down onto the battery. So like I said, be very, very careful, make sure you put it on the right way. So down here, obviously this end goes in first through the hole as such, just like that, and then make sure it sits it down nice and smooth. Then you just torque this bit down nice and tight. So once you've put all of the stuff in, that's done nice and tight, just to double check everything's on nice and tight, all you need to do now is just put your battery cover back in. So you've got 2 guys on the back there, push them in, push it down, job done. Let me